Chosen one. This is not just a story. This is a divine revelation. What I'm about to tell you isn't hearsay. It's confirmation. It's exposure. It's heaven pulling back the veil and declaring, you were never crazy. You were never the villain. You were always the chosen one. Somewhere deep in the shadows where deception thrived and justice was silenced, a conspiracy was born. Not in the open, but in whispers, late-night phone calls, backroom deals. This wasn't just betrayal, it was a spiritual ambush. And now the heavens have blown the cover off it all. Let me take you there. Picture a boardroom of shadows. Three figures sit in silence. Your ex, the one who wore a mask of love but whispered lies behind your back. The dirty cop who took an oath to protect but chose to persecute. And the corrupted lawyer, trained in truth but sold out for power. They formed what the Spirit calls the unholy trinity. Each one played their part. Each one believed their positions made them untouchable. Your ex fed the false narratives, twisting facts, rewriting moments, performing victimhood like a well-rehearsed actor. The lawyer, slick with legal jargon, manipulated documents, doctored timelines, turned the law into smoke and mirrors. The cop? They made sure any investigation died before it started, burying reports, silencing witnesses, rerouting truth into dead ends. This wasn't a random accident. It was an operation, a network, a blood pact built on fear, envy, and control. And behind them, a family system, a legacy of silence and manipulation. People who watched, people who knew, and yet they said nothing, because keeping the mask on was more convenient than defending the truth. But chosen one, heaven was watching the whole time. The spirit realm had surveillance the courts didn't. Every lie recorded, every whisper documented, every betrayal marked. You see, justice isn't blind, it's patient. And when divine timing arrives, even the deepest secrets can't hide from the sword of revelation. That time is now. The investigations have begun. The files once buried are being reopened. Bank records, message logs, legal statements. It's all resurfacing, not by chance, but by divine order. What they thought was lost is returning, piece by piece, as evidence. And as it unfolds, so does the truth. You were never the unstable one. You were never the problem. You were the light, and they couldn't stand to be seen in it. This wasn't just personal jealousy, it was spiritual warfare. They didn't just attack your name, they tried to muzzle your mission. Because when you rise, darkness loses its grip. When you speak, illusions shatter. And when the chosen one walks in purpose, the entire structure of manipulation begins to fall. You've been gaslighted. You've been lied on. You've been isolated. But now, the prophecy flips. The same mouths that smeared you will stammer. The same courts that dismissed you will vindicate you. The same family members who enabled the harm will now be forced to confront what they allowed to grow in silence. And as they scramble, erasing messages, deleting files, blaming one another, they'll realize the gavel isn't in their hands anymore. The true court is in session now, and God is the judge. Chosen one. They didn't just commit a crime against your reputation. They violated a covenant, and that cannot go unanswered. This is only the beginning of the unveiling. In the next segment, we'll go deeper into the spiritual mechanics of this betrayal, into the psychological traps they tried to set, and into the miraculous justice that is now flowing like a river. But for now, drop a comment below if this word resonates. Share it with someone who needs to hear the truth. And if you're ready to claim your name back from the lies, type "I'm rising" in the comments, because you're not just recovering, you're reigning, and their conspiracy has become your confirmation. We'll continue. The truth isn't done speaking. Chosen one. Let's talk about pain, not the kind you can see, not the bruises on the skin, but the wounds they left in your spirit, wounds they planned. They didn't break into your house with a crowbar. They broke into your mind with manipulation. They didn't rob your bank account first. They robbed your sense of reality. This wasn't just betrayal. It was a surgical strike on your soul. They studied your past. They memorized your emotional triggers like blueprints. They knew your story and twisted it until even you started wondering if you were the villain. That's gaslighting. They turned your truth into a courtroom joke. They took your tears and called them unstable. They took your stillness and painted it as cold. They turned your empathy into a liability. And here's the cruel part. They waited until you were vulnerable, emotionally raw, spiritually tired, maybe even financially drained. Then struck your ex, that lawyer, and the crooked cop. What a trio, a triangle of deception, each one feeding the other, each one pulling a string in the puppet show they built around your downfall. Chosen one. They didn't just betray you, they weaponized your wounds. They used your kindness as a mask. They wore your past like a costume. They said, "I love you," while planting seeds of doubt in your mind. They said, "I'm here to help," while filing documents that twisted the narrative. They smiled on the surface, but underneath, they were digging your emotional grave. The lawyer, fluent in legal jargon, bent every word into a noose. Subtle misquotes, missing paperwork, twisted timelines. He turned the law into a theater of injustice. The cop? He didn't serve. He surveilled. His badge became a mask to cover, not uncover. His silence was protection, not for you, but for the darkness behind the scenes. And your ex? They knew your soul. They knew how to mimic remorse, tears on cue, voicemails at 2 a.m. Let's just talk. Maybe we misunderstood each other, but those weren't apologies. They were traps. Every sorry was a strategy. Every hug was a hook. Every act of affection was a rehearsal for your emotional collapse. They needed you confused. They needed you silent. They needed you questioning your own memories. Because if you ever woke up, if you ever found clarity, their entire empire of lies would collapse. So they gaslighted you relentlessly, until up felt like down, until truth felt like fiction, until your own voice echoed back to you with uncertainty. Chosen one. It was never about you being weak. It was always about you being dangerous to the darkness. Because your clarity, that's a threat. Your discernment, that's a weapon. Your voice, even trembling, still carries the vibration of divine truth. And the enemy couldn't let that rise. So what did they do? They created a fog of confusion, not just around your name, but around your mind. They crafted characters. They rehearsed their lines. They pulled your name into rooms you'd never been in. They turned family against you. Friends turned cold. You were outnumbered but never overpowered, because God never left the room. You see, what they didn't realize is that your soul remembers what your mind forgets. And deep in your spirit, truth kept whispering, "This isn't who I am. I remember who I am." Chosen one. You're not paranoid. You're not broken. You are awakening. And every lie they told, every fake tear they shed, every signature they forged, every manipulation they whispered behind your back, it's all coming to light. Their performance is unraveling, and your pain, the very thing they tried to use as proof of guilt, is becoming evidence of your divine assignment. So I ask you now, when they questioned your sanity, did you hold on to your spirit? When they blurred the truth, did your soul still speak? Because that is what makes you chosen. Drop a comment if you've ever been made to doubt your own reality. Drop a comment if the truth is starting to shine through the lies. And if you're ready for part 3, where we expose how the system they built is now crumbling under its own weight, stay with us. Your vindication isn't coming, it's already in motion. Chosen one. Truth has a heartbeat, and no matter how deep they tried to bury it, under false files, under fake tears, under forged narratives, it kept pulsing. Because truth doesn't die. It waits. It waits until the right time, the divine time. And now, the wait is over. Everything they built on sand is cracking. The perfect lies, unraveling. The airtight cover-ups, leaking. The silence they depended on, shattering. The buried emails are surfacing. The encrypted messages they thought were deleted, recovered. The fake names they used for wire transfers, now traceable. Receipts, documents, recordings whispered in the dark now echo like thunder in the light. What once was hidden behind closed courtroom doors, what once was whispered in backseat meetings, is now being projected on the cosmic screen of justice. Chosen one. There's always one person who sees everything, who watched from the inside, who bit their tongue for too long, and finally they speak. The assistant who handled the files, they come forward. The junior officer who saw the reports being edited, they come forward. The friend who overheard the schemes, who brushed off the warnings, they can't sleep anymore, they can't stay silent. A ripple has started, and now even the tightest lips are loosening. But then, there's the key. One individual, not a side character, not a bystander, but someone who was deep in the circle, someone who heard the plans, saw the drafts, witnessed the manipulation, and they break ranks. They bring evidence. They bring timestamps. They bring the conversations everyone thought were off the record. They are the key God sent to unlock the vault of deception. And once the vault is opened, nothing can be hidden again. What they thought was sealed forever is now laid bare. The lawyer's voice on a call, coaching your ex to fake sincerity. The officer's notes, altered by hand to remove the truth. Bank logs showing money passed quietly between hands that should have been clean. The people they paid off, the deals made under the table, the threats whispered through closed lips, now all exposed. And the most dangerous weapon of all? Your story, unfiltered, now confirmed. Those who called you crazy, now rereading the emails with trembling hands. Those who laughed behind your back, now realizing they were manipulated too. Because truth doesn't whisper anymore. Chosen one, it's roaring. The plan they stitched together with legal loopholes, emotional blackmail, and spiritual manipulation is now coming apart thread by thread. And what held it all together? Silence. But silence has left the room. Truth walks in with witnesses, with screen recordings, with notarized dates, with screenshots, with signed affidavits. One voice spoke, then another, then another. Now it's a chorus. And the melody? Justice. The same mouth that lied now can't keep their story straight. The same hands that signed off are now signing confessions. And the system they thought was theirs to twist is now turning against them, because heaven has its own legal system. And when earth's justice fails, the courtroom of the Most High takes over. So I ask you, chosen one, have you ever felt the moment when lies lose their power? When the mask slips and everyone finally sees? That moment is here. Drop a comment if you've ever watched the truth rise after being buried. Type fire if you feel the fire of revelation breaking through. And share this with someone who's waiting for the veil to tear. Because this is just the beginning. In part 4, we'll step into how heaven's sword of justice begins to strike. But for now, hold your head high. The truth has chosen you to be its vessel, and no darkness can stop what's already rising. Banjanoy, Panbon, Sao Trao Tung, Tuan bo amu bilat mat, traloy, kai ket kwa kigyan manbat, jaun hudanao, hukwe sangoloy lan hao, ngoy yeo joko luetsu jocho kansat, hui chungku, taolido vongvo, fat biu mauthuan, hetong fap li kwe jiao, jiu tralai, trui tu, xet shu, chat GPT janoi, absolutely chosen one. Below is part 4 of your prophetic video script. Approximately 700 words written in spoken word cinematic style, continuing the intense courtroom prophetic tone. Chosen one, this is the moment when it all breaks, not just cracks, not just trembles, it shatters. Because when the truth rises like a tidal wave, those who built their thrones on lies, they drown in their own deception, the alliance they once guarded like a sacred bond. The ex, the corrupted lawyer, the badge-tainting cop, is now nothing but a battlefield of betrayal. They turn on each other, fast, desperate, ugly. Your ex claims, "I didn't know. The lawyer made the call." The lawyer fires back, "I acted on instructions. I was just the middleman." And the officer, "They both lied to me. I was following orders." Each trying to rewrite history, each trying to look like a pawn in the very game they designed. The courtroom is no longer their stage. Now it's heaven's stage, and the judge above all judges is watching. Suddenly, evidence vanishes, files corrupted, messages accidentally deleted, devices conveniently wiped clean. One claims their laptop crashed. Another says they changed phones. A third blames the intern. But the timing? Too perfect to be coincidence. Too obvious to ignore. The cover-up is collapsing in real time, like a tower built with forged bricks. Every layer is falling. And the legal system? It sees it now. Where once they ignored your cries, where once your reports were lost, now judges are calling emergency reviews. Prosecutors are opening sealed files, and investigators are demanding answers with fire in their eyes. This isn't just a scandal anymore. This is a reckoning. The same system they corrupted is now turning back around to correct itself. Divine reversal. Courtroom clerks whisper behind doors. Subpoenas hit inboxes like lightning strikes, and search warrants fly faster than alibis can be made up. Their testimonies inconsistent, contradictory, and incriminating. The more they talk, the deeper they dig their own graves. Your ex slips up, mentions a date they swore they forgot. The lawyer panics, quotes a conversation they denied having. The officer folds, names a location under oath that doesn't match the official report. The truth doesn't just leak anymore, it floods. And you, chosen one, you don't lift a finger, you don't raise your voice, you simply stand. Because when heaven declares you innocent, no man-made system can condemn you. Let them run, let them spin stories, let them shred papers and scrub drives. It won't save them. Because what was once done in the dark is now being judged in heaven's full light. You are the witness, but no longer the accused. You are the survivor, but now also the standard bearer of truth. The same mouths that smeared your name are now on the record, exposing themselves. And the justice they once perverted, it's being purified by fire. Chosen one, if you've ever seen someone backpedal so fast they trip over their own lies, type in the comments. Because we're not done yet. This isn't just about you anymore. It's about the system they broke, the people they silenced, the pain they left behind. But now, the sword of divine justice has fallen. Chosen one. Do you feel that? That shift in the atmosphere? It's not just the enemy unraveling. It's the ripple effect. The wave of truth now echoing through every circle that once turned their back on you. Because when a mask falls, it never falls alone. It brings down the entire stage with it. Your ex, unmasked. Their lawyer, exposed. The crooked officer, disgraced. But now comes a second wave. The wave that hits the spectators, the ones who clapped when you were being shamed. Let's talk about friends, the ones who weren't sure what to believe, the ones who chose silence over support, the ones who ghosted you because loyalty made them uncomfortable. They now scroll in horror, watching the headlines change, watching the tapes, hearing the leaked audios, and realizing they were wrong, so wrong. Some send messages like, "I didn't know. I was manipulated too. I'm sorry I didn't defend you." But you, chosen one, you've grown too much to need validation now, because heaven already cleared your name. And then comes the family, not yours, theirs. The ones who once praised your ex, called you too much, defended every lie with blind loyalty. Now they stare at the truth like a foreign language. They can't explain the money transfers. They can't defend the footage. They can't silence the testimony. Suddenly the group chats go quiet. The family dinners become battlegrounds because no one wants to admit they enabled a lie. Their faces say what their mouths won't. Guilt, shock, shame. But the most glorious reversal? It's the institutions, the systems, the organizations who once sided with them, the schools, the firms, the churches, the courts, who dismissed you. Now they can't stay silent, not with emails exposed, not with documents leaked, not with public outrage knocking at their door. So what do? They issue statements. Upon further review, we regret the handling of. We offer our sincere apologies to. Apologies that should have come years ago. But now, they have no choice. Because when the truth comes with receipts, even cowards start clearing their throat. And the community, the people, the bystanders, they're not quiet anymore. They whisper in grocery aisles. They repost the reports. They comment under the photos. I always felt something was off. I knew she was telling the truth. I wish I had said something. You are no longer the villain in their story. You are the mirror, reflecting back their silence, their complicity, their discomfort with your truth. And now, they can't unsee it. The illusion is broken. The cult of image, shattered. Because when the chosen rise, every mask within 10 miles gets nervous. This is the part where heaven flips the script. You, once isolated, now find all eyes turning toward you, not in judgment, but in awe. Because you stood when no one stood with you. You told the truth when no one wanted to hear it. And now the stage that once mocked you becomes the very place where God vindicates you. So, chosen one, have you felt that shift in your circle? Drop a I in the comments if people who once doubted you are now trying to come back, apologize, explain, or over-explain. Let's be clear. Forgiveness is divine, but discernment is holy. This is not about revenge. This is about restoration, not just for your name, but for your destiny. Chosen one. The season of shame is over. The storm has passed, and now light returns. Not just any light, but the kind of light that heals, cleanses, and restores. This isn't just about people apologizing. It's about divine recompense. The sword of justice did not strike just to punish the wicked. It also came to lift you, to cover you, to restore what was taken. Because you didn't just lose peace. You lost your name. You lost your footing. You lost the sense that anyone saw you clearly. But heaven saw it all. And heaven kept the records. Let's talk about recovery. The kind no man can manufacture. Only God can initiate. That apartment they stole, that account they drained, that reputation they smeared, all of it is returning, piece by piece. Slowly at first, then suddenly. Emails come in, phone calls arrive. Lawyers who once ignored you now want to talk. Officials who overlooked you now want to reassess. Why? Because the evidence was never gone. It was hidden. But hidden doesn't mean erased, and God is the God of the hidden. He pulled the files. He reopened the vault. And now restoration is no longer a wish. It's in motion. You'll begin to notice that property title, corrected, that frozen asset, released. That position they said you weren't qualified for, now being offered back with interest. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about your name. Because when they lied, they didn't just steal resources. They tried to rob your identity. They called you unstable. They painted you bitter. They whispered stories that never came from your lips. And people believed it, because lies always travel faster than the truth. But now the truth has grown wings. And everywhere your name was dragged through the mud, it's now being lifted into light. Co-workers who once distanced themselves now say, "We had no idea." Friends who once stayed neutral now say, "You were right all along." Even strangers who once believed their lies are now resharing your truth, rebuilding the narrative in your favor. Because light does not just reveal, it repairs. But the most sacred part of this restoration, chosen one, isn't material, it's spiritual. You didn't just survive loss. You carried the weight of betrayal in silence, in private, while praying for a justice that felt like it would never come. And now, God is answering those prayers out loud. Your soul is being re-anchored. The tears are drying, the confusion is clearing, and the old identity you were forced to wear is being replaced with your original, divine one. You are not crazy. You are not too emotional. You are not difficult. You are chosen. And finally, they see it. Even those who once stayed silent, even those who quietly watched from the sidelines, are now rising from their seats, coming forward to stand beside you. Not because you begged, but because truth summoned them. That's how divine justice works. It doesn't just remove enemies, it raises allies. So if this part of the story is unfolding in your life, if your peace has been unusually strong, if favor is returning through unexpected doors, drop a 777 in the comments. It's your sign. Heaven is not done. Heaven is not late. And heaven never forgets. The light is not just exposing others. It's reclaiming you. Chosen one, you made it through. But this was never just about you. Your survival was a signal. Your vindication, a summoning. Because now, your rise is not just a personal victory, it's a global alarm clock. You didn't just survive darkness. You carried the torch through it. And now, everywhere your foot steps, truth begins to shake the ground. Let's make one thing clear. You were the test case. Heaven let you walk through the fire so that others could learn how to cross safely. Now your story, your pain, your silence, your refusal to break becomes a blueprint, a living template for those still trapped in systems designed to crush their voice. You are proof that lies collapse. You are evidence that gaslighting can be reversed. You are the precedent that divine justice is not a myth, but a force. Because your journey didn't just expose individuals. It exposed the structure that gave them power. And now that it's cracked, light is flooding in. Let me paint this clearly. Your rise was not quiet, it rippled. You stood up, and suddenly others found their voice. You told the truth, and suddenly others remembered theirs. You refused to back down, and suddenly entire systems started trembling. Your case became the awakening. Judges revisit files with new eyes. Social circles whisper a different story. Families begin asking the questions they once avoided, and those who once stayed silent, now they begin to speak. The veil that once protected the wicked has been torn open, and now sunlight touches everything. Because of your story, a mother going through the same abuse now gathers courage to file the report. A whistleblower, once terrified of retaliation, now sees your outcome and chooses to speak. A spiritual seeker, confused and alone, sees your faith and begins to pray again. Do you see it? Your life has become a living prophecy, a sword carved not just for justice, but for generational awakening. They meant to silence you, but God meant to amplify you. They meant to isolate you, but heaven turned you into a lighthouse. You didn't just fight for yourself. You fought for the version of someone else who still hasn't been believed. You fought for the child who's still being gaslit. You fought for the soul who's still questioning if truth matters. And because you made it, they now have a map. And this isn't just human inspiration. No, this is cosmic realignment. Justice wasn't restored just in courtrooms. It was restored in the spiritual infrastructure of the universe. Systems that were rigged now malfunction. Corrupt alliances crumble without warning. Hidden transactions start surfacing. Why? Because your breakthrough shook dimensions. Let them call it coincidence. Let them say it's random. But you and I both know this was divine orchestration. The universe is correcting itself because you refuse to live in distortion. Your pain has been recycled into pathways. Your scars have been rewritten as signposts. And your testimony? It now walks ahead of you like a pillar of fire, lighting the way for thousands. So yes, this story is about you, but it's also about every soul who will follow your footsteps. And as your light continues to rise, it reveals something ancient, something sacred, that when one chosen one rises, the world shifts. You were never meant to fit in. You were always meant to break open the mold. So keep shining, keep walking, because the ripple effect has only just begun.